Now, another multicultural community that is so significant to our state is the Vietnamese community, one that is hurting over the tragic death of Van Viet Trung. This man was a hero, a good Samaritan who came to the aid of someone else in his community and paid for it with his life. It was something that I felt personally very impacted by when I read the story of the tragic death of Van Viet Trung, when I read that he was a migrant to this country, in fact a refugee to this country, the fact that he is a father of two, that he has a grandson that he's left behind, and I thought of, honestly, my own father. I thought of my own father as a migrant to this country, and of the Asian community at large that have often reached out to me and said, Nicole, we feel like you are our voice in this place, that when we see you, we feel seen, that there is someone that actually represents us from within our own community, the Asian Australian community here. And this is the thing about Asian Australians, they came here for a better life. They're often quiet achievers. They don't speak out. They don't make a fuss. They're small business owners, traders, self-starters, hard workers, and they give back to our community. The Vietnamese community have reached out to me and I've been speaking to them. And in the words of a refugee herself, she said, "We survived hardship and displacement. We came from a country where speaking up could carry consequences. Our priority was survival, to build a safe life for our families, to work hard, to keep our heads down, and to be grateful for the opportunity we had been given." And she said, in her own words, that speaking out sometimes would carry consequences. So often in the Asian Australian community, when hardship comes, when challenges, when racism, when these things come, they don't always speak out, they don't always feel like they have the right to. And I can't tell you how many Asian Australians have reached out to me over the course of my 3 years in Parliament to say, can you please speak out for our community? Can you please be our voice? Can you please be one of us that speaks out for us? And that weighs heavy on me, acting speaker. It weighs heavy on me that for them, they feel like I'm one of the sole voices that understands, that represents, that sees them as one of them, of their lived experience. And so that's why I'm speaking out today. That this man who is a hero, a good Samaritan who came to the aid of someone else in his community, paid for it with his life, yet 3 of the 4 alleged offenders were put out on bail again because of this weak justice system, thanks to this useless Labor government. And if I can read from you the words from this Vietnamese refugee herself, she says that, "My name is Yen. I'm writing to share the concerns I have for my community. As someone of Vietnamese heritage, as a migrant, but most importantly, as an Australian. My family was incredibly fortunate to come to Australia in 1996, and Australia was a dream. I was a refugee baby born in Hong Kong after my parents fled Vietnam because they feared for our safety under the communist regime." She goes on to say that Australia gave us a second chance. We came to a country that we believe stood for diversity, fairness, justice and protection, and it doesn't feel like this anymore. She says families are frightened and our community is asking a very simple question: where is the accountability? The recent case involving Mr. Viet Van Trung has particularly affected the Vietnamese community that she speaks on behalf of, and many others across Victoria, and his death has left many people asking a deeply concerning question: what do we do when someone needs help? And I'm asking, she says, our elected representatives to listen. Listen to the fear. Listen to the frustration. Listen to the people who feel the system is no longer working effectively enough to keep their communities safe. We need governments that listen when ordinary Australians say that they are concerned. I'm asking you, take these concerns into Parliament and give a voice to our community who may not know how to advocate for themselves. And I say this loudly and clearly today, acting speaker, that whilst we are in this house and whilst we on this side are in this house, we will always stand up for the quiet Australian. We will always stand up for migrant communities. We will always stand up for multicultural Victoria.